The thermos of coffee felt warm in my hands. It was the only warm thing on a cold, rainy night. My husband, Theron, had texted me an hour ago. "Working late. Don't wait up." But his voice had sounded strange all week, distant. I just wanted to see his face. I smiled at the security guard in the lobby, a building I knew as well as my own home. "He forgot his coffee," I said, holding up the thermos. I took the silent elevator to the 14th floor. The main office lights were off, but a glow came from his private office at the end of the hall. The heavy glass door was slightly open. I heard a whisper, then a soft laugh. It wasn't Theron's. Pushed the door. He was there, leaning over his desk. And my sister, Sabine, was looking up at him as he leaned in and kissed her. His hands on her waist. I was frozen. The world stopped. Then the thermos slipped from my numb fingers. It crashed onto the marble floor, the hot coffee and shattering glass echoing in the terrible, terrible silence. If you have ever felt your entire world break in a single second, you know exactly what I felt. They flew apart. Sabine's face was a mask of pure horror, and she burst into tears. "Karis, It's not. I can explain," she stammered. I just stared at her, my own sister. I couldn't find my voice. But Theron was different. After 1 second of shock, his face turned to cold stone. He didn't look guilty. He looked angry. "You followed me," he hissed. His voice was like ice. He didn't look at Sabine. He grabbed my arm, his fingers digging into my skin. "You're making a scene," he said, his voice low and threatening. He dragged me out of his office, past the spilled coffee, and pushed the button for the elevator. He didn't apologize. He didn't explain. He was furious that I had caught him. As the elevator doors closed, leaving me alone, I realized my marriage wasn't just broken. Had been a lie. I don't remember driving home. It was like I was floating. When I walked inside, the house was silent and cold. Every picture on the wall felt like a joke. There was one of Theron and me at our wedding. There was one of Sabine and me at the beach, laughing, our arms around each other. My best friend and my sister. My whole life was in this house, and all of it felt fake. Was any of it real? His laugh. The way he held my hand. The advice Sabine gave me. My stomach twisted. I ran to the bathroom and was sick. This wasn't a simple mistake. This was a plan. A long, cruel, secret plan. The betrayal wasn't just about a kiss. It was about my entire life. My hands were shaking so hard I dropped my phone twice. I finally managed to call Ronan, my oldest friend. He's the kind of friend you can call at 2 a.m., and he won't even ask why. He just said, "I'm on my way." He was at my door in 20 minutes. I told him everything, the words spilling out between sobs. He didn't just pat my back and offer me tea. He listened, his face getting harder and harder. When I was done, he got me a glass of water, opened his laptop, and sat across from me. "Okay," he said, his voice calm and steady. "He's cruel. Now we get smart. He's already shown you who he is. Now you have to protect yourself. We need to see what you're really dealing with." That one word, "we," felt like the first solid ground I had stood on all night. It all started with a gift last month. Theron had given me a brand new, expensive tablet. "It will link all our home devices, make life easier," he'd said with a smile. I thought it was so thoughtful. Ronan looked at it on the coffee table. "Can I see that?" he asked. He spent 10 minutes tapping on it, his brow furrowed. "Karis," he said, his voice quiet. "When did he give you this?" "About a month ago." "Why?" He turned the screen to me. "It's not a gift. It's a surveillance tool. He installed high-level spyware on it. He's been monitoring your texts, your calls, maybe even the microphone." My blood ran cold. This wasn't just an affair. This was a new, terrifying level of deception. He wasn't just cheating. He was spying on me. "We can't use your phone or your computer. They're all dirty," Ronan said. He pulled a brand new burner phone from his bag. "I always keep a few," he said. Data security. He used it to log into our joint bank accounts. Everything looks normal, he said at first, scrolling down. Weekly spending, mortgage, wait. He stopped. What is this? He pointed to a small recurring transfer. It was for $2,000 every month for the last 6 months. It was going to an LLC, a company I had never heard of. SC Holdings, he read out loud. My heart stopped. Sabine. He wasn't just having an affair with my sister. He was paying her, using our money. The doorbell rang the next morning. It was Sabine. She was a complete wreck, her eyes red and swollen. It was a perfect performance. Karis, please, she sobbed, trying to hug me. I stepped back. He preyed on me. I was lonely. You know how charming he can be. It meant nothing, I swear. I just looked at her, my heart feeling like a cold stone in my chest. What is SC Holdings? Yes. Her face went white. The tears stopped. Instantly. The act just dropped. She stood up straight, and a new, ugly look came into her eyes. He was going to leave you anyway, she spat. I just made sure I got what I was owed. You were always so perfect. Well, you're not so perfect now, are you? I needed to know how deep this went. I called Eamon, Theron's business partner. I pretended to be the worried wife. I'm sorry to bother you, Eamon. Theron is just working so late. I'm worried he's too stressed. I met him for a coincidental coffee near his office. Eamon looked terrible. He was jumpy and kept checking his phone. Stressed. That's one word for it, he said, stirring his coffee so hard it nearly spilled. He's been secretive. He locked down all the main accounts last month. And he's pushing for this new high-risk merger. It's all he talks about. If it goes wrong, we're finished. But he won't listen to me. A new ticking clock just started to sound in my head. We are out of our league, I told Ronan that night. This isn't just cheating. It's fraud. He's locking down accounts. He's pushing a merger. And he's spying on me. Ronan nodded, his face grim. I know. So I made a call. He slid a business card across the table. It just said, Ms. Morvan. Discreet investigations. She's not a cheap TV detective, Karis. She's the real deal. She finds things that don't want to be found. We met Ms. Morvan the next day. She was a woman in her 50s, with sharp eyes and a calm voice. She listened to my whole story without a single flicker of emotion. When I finished, she just said, Mrs. Peters, men like your husband don't just have one secret. They have layers. My job is to find out how deep the rot goes. Ms. Morvan worked fast. She was worth every penny. She didn't bother with texts or emails. She put a physical tracker on Theron's car. His car didn't just go to the office, home, and Sabine's apartment. It made a weekly stop at a climate-controlled storage unit on the bad side of town. Why would he need a storage unit? Yes. People like him like to keep their trophies, Ms. Morvan said. She gained access to the unit legally. She called me an hour later. You need to see this. Inside the unit was a small, fireproof, locked file cabinet. Ms. Morvan opened it. It was full of cash. And a second, handwritten ledger. It listed assets, properties, and bank accounts I had never seen. He wasn't just hiding thousands. He was hiding millions. We know what he has, but we need to know what he's doing, Ronan said. I have an idea. He called Theron's office, but not as himself. He posed as a corporate investigator for a big firm. We're doing routine due diligence on a potential partner company, he said in a boring official voice. He got Mavis, the longtime receptionist. Mavis had always felt underpaid and disrespected by Theron. She was happy to talk. Mr. Theron. Oh, he's always busy with special projects, she said. He has a lot of consultants. Especially that sister of yours, Sabine. She's in and out of here all the time. He even gave her a private access card to the building's gym and pool. Strange for a consultant, right? The address from the handwritten ledger was for a luxury apartment on River Street. Is this Sabine's new place? I asked Ms. Morvan. No, she said. I already ran Sabine's name. This is something else. Ms. Morvan went to the building, posing as a potential renter. She chatted with the doorman. Oh, Mr. Theron, the doorman said. Yes, he's a great tenant. Very quiet. Has friends over sometimes. Ms. Morvan showed him a picture of Sabine. The doorman shook his head. No, I've never seen her. He usually has other friends. A blonde lady on Tuesdays, a brunette on Thursdays. My stomach dropped. I was a fool. Sabine wasn't the other woman. She was just one of them. He was juggling an entire second life. I sat in Ronan's car, staring at my new clean burner phone. We have to break their alliance, I said. Sabine thinks she's his one and only. She thinks she won. Ronan nodded. What are you going to do? I pulled up a new text message. I typed 7 simple words to Sabine. Does he take you to the apartment on River Street? I hit send. My phone rang less than 10 seconds later. It was Sabine. I let it go to voicemail. She called again. And again. Finally she sent a text. What do you know? How did you find that? Karis, answer me. I turned the phone off. I didn't need to answer. The seed of panic was planted. Let her wonder. Let her see that he was playing her too. My regular phone rang. It was Eamon Theron's partner. He sounded like he was about to have a heart attack. Karis, it's happening. The merger. He's pushing it through today. What? Why so fast? I asked, trying to sound calm. I don't know. He's using all the company's capital as leverage. And I just saw the final paperwork. The other company is wiring the money, but it's not going to our main account. It's all being routed through SC Holdings. My blood ran cold. Eamon, I said. He's not merging the company. He's bankrupting it. He's planning to take all the money from the merger and run, leaving you with the debts. There was a long, terrible silence on the other end of the line. I called Ms. Morvan. He's moving now. The merger. It's all going to SC Holdings. He's cashing out, Ms. Morvan said, her voice grim. He's running. But I found something else. The lease on the burner apartment. It wasn't in his name. It was in the name of a corporation, which I traced back to a woman in Arizona. Another one, I whispered, feeling sick. His first one, Ms. Morvan said. She filed a fraud report against a Dr. Theron 2 years ago. She claimed he married her, drained her accounts, and vanished. The report was mysteriously dropped a week later. Karis. This isn't a marriage. This is his job. He's a professional con artist. I had to stop him. And I knew the only person who could was the one he was about to betray. I called Sabine from my burner phone. She picked up on the first ring. Her voice a hysterical mess. What do you know about River Street? What's going on? We need to meet, I said. A public park. Now. She was there in 10 minutes, her face pale. He's not just cheating on me, Sabine. He's playing you, I said, my voice cold. I laid it all out. The storage unit. The burner apartment. The other women. The fraud report from Arizona. And SC Holdings. Said. That's not your company. That's your jail cell. When he runs with all that money, your name will be the only one on the account. You're not his partner. You're his scapegoat. Sabine's face went from pale to gray. The fury she had shown at my house was gone. It was replaced by a deep, hollow terror. She finally understood. He promised me, she whispered. He said he loved me. He said you were boring and he wanted a real life with me. He loves money, Sabine. That's all, I said. The tears that came now were real. They weren't for show. They were the tears of someone who just realized her entire future was about to be destroyed. She had helped him ruin my life, and now he was about to ruin hers. What do I do? She whispered, grabbing my arm. He's going to destroy me. Yes, he is, I said. Unless you do exactly what I say. Sabine gave us her passwords. She was terrified, but she was more terrified of Theron. Ronan logged into the SC Holdings account. "Karis, you need to see this," he said, his voice grim. He pointed to his screen. There was the main merger contract, just as Eamon had said. But then Ronan clicked on a subfolder. It was a second hidden contract. A wire transfer agreement. 24 hours after the merger money landed in SC Holdings, it was scheduled to be automatically transferred to another account. An offshore bank. In Theron's name only. "Oh my God," I whispered. He was going to betray her too. He was going to take every penny and leave her to face the police. The day of the merger, the conference room was full. The big glass walls gleamed. Theron was at the head of the table, laughing, pouring champagne for the visiting CEO. He looked like a star. He was charming, powerful, and completely in control. He had no idea he was walking into his own trap. Eamon was there, sweating, but he nodded at me when I walked past the conference room. Ronan was in a nearby office, providing IT support. I was just supposed to be dropping off papers for Eamon. Theron saw me, smirked, and then went back to his conversation. He thought I was a pathetic, defeated wife. He had no idea what was about to happen. "Well, gentlemen, let's make this official," Theron said. He picked up the expensive pen. He signed his name with a flourish on the first page. The ink was still wet when the conference room door opened. Ms. Morvan walked in. She wasn't in her usual clothes. She was in a sharp, expensive business suit, holding a slim black folder. "Pardon the interruption, gentlemen," she said, her voice cutting through the room. "I believe you're missing some key due diligence on Mr. Theron." Theron's smile vanished. "Who are you?" he snapped. "Security." Ms. Morvan just walked past him. Ms. Morvan ignored Theron and placed the slim black folder in front of the visiting CEO. "Page 1, she said, "is a handwritten ledger from your new partner's private storage unit, detailing several million in hidden, undeclared assets." The CEO's eyes went wide. "Page 2, Ms. Morvan continued, "is the lease for his burner apartment on River Street, which he uses to entertain clients and other women." Theron was white as a sheet. "Page 3, she said, "is the fraud report filed against him in Arizona 2 years ago by a woman he also married and bankrupted." The CEO looked from the folder to Theron, his face turning a deep, angry red. "What is this?" Theron yelled, his voice cracking. "This is insane. Security." Eamon stood up, his whole body shaking. "She's right, Theron." "Eamon, sit down," Theron commanded. "She's right," Eamon said again, his voice stronger now. "And there's more." At that exact second, everyone's phone in the room buzzed. Ronan had just hit send. The email contained a single attachment, the hidden offshore contract. "He's bankrupting us," Eamon said, his voice full of rage. "He's routing the entire merger payment to his private account. He's robbing us all." The room exploded in shouts. Theron was sputtering. "This is fake. It's a lie. She's a crazy, jealous wife." The door opened again. This time it was Sabine. She was with my lawyer. "It's all true," Sabine said. Her voice was loud and clear and didn't shake. "I helped him. He told me to open SC Holdings to hide the money. He's a con artist, and this is my sworn testimony." Theron stopped yelling. He just deflated. He looked at Sabine. He looked at Eamon. And then he looked at me. His eyes were not angry anymore. They were empty. He had been beaten. He was finally completely cornered. The CEO was on his phone, not calling security but the police. "I've got a multi-million-dollar fraud in progress," he yelled. It was all over in minutes. As 2 police officers arrived and put Theron's hands behind his back, he just stared at me. He expected me to cry. He expected me to scream at him. I did nothing. I walked to the head of the conference table, picked up the half-signed multi-million-dollar merger document, and looked him right in the eye. Then I slowly tore it in half. And then in half again. I dropped the pieces in the trash can. I didn't say a word. My revenge wasn't loud. It was the quiet, absolute end of his entire life. Theron's trial was fast. With the evidence from Ms. Morvan, Eamon and Sabine, he took a plea deal. He's facing years in prison for fraud. Eamon and Ronan are rebuilding the company, and with my share of the seized assets, I'm now their new silent partner. Sabine got 2 years of probation and community service for her testimony. I visited her once before her sentencing. I hope you get help, Sabine, I told her. I hope you build a better life. But we will never be sisters again. She just nodded, tears in her eyes. She understood. Today, I signed the papers on my own apartment, one with big, sunny windows. As I walked out, I felt the warm sun on my face for the first time in months. I was finally free. If this story has touched you, please share it. You never know who might need to hear that it's possible to rebuild, even after your whole world has been torn apart.